Now, ISIL's presence in Somalia means yet another foothold for the group in Africa. ISIL-affiliated groups can already be found in Libya, Egypt and Nigeria. CCTV's Susan Mwangeli has more.
ISIL's strongest presence in Africa is in Libya. It is estimated that there are around 6,000 ISIL fighters in the country, mostly in the east. It controls territory, has targeted oil installations, kidnapped foreigners and beheaded them. Across the border, Egypt is dealing with ISIL in Libya on its western border and on the eastern border in Sinai. The groups claimed responsibility for several attacks in Sinai, especially on security forces, and also claimed the recent crash of a Russian passenger plane. In West Africa, Nigeria militant group Boko Haram is also an ISIL affiliate. While the army's claimed gains against the group, it threatens the entire Lake Chad basin. Along with Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad and Niger are jointly fighting the militants. This latest video in Somalia, although not verified, could point to some serious consequences for East Africa. Al-Shabaab militants are strongly against ISIL, but should the group gain more of a foothold, countries like Kenya and Uganda may also come under threat. Back to you.
Well, let's bring you some analysis now on these latest developments. I'm joined live in studio by Bernard Macau, a security expert at Winneman. Bernard, thank you so much for joining us on Africa Live. First of all, many international players within the international community have been warning of the spread of ISIL. Some are suggesting, though, that Africa has been slow to respond.
Well, actually, when you're talking about ISIL, ISIL is a global phenomenon. So being able to tackle it, it can be just the African perspective or the African effort, divorced as it were from whatever else is going on around the globe. For example, what's happening in Syria. We just know right now that the US, the UK, in fact even Russia, are in the process of building a coalition, a working team to see how to handle the ISIL problem. But coming back to Africa, ISIL has been manifesting mostly through groups that have already been existing, groups like Boko Haram. We've had a small splinter group in Somalia pledging allegiance to ISIL. So there is already anti-terrorist efforts going on against Boko Haram, the AMISOM against Somalia. So it's not precise to say that very little is happening in Africa. Actually, quite a lot is happening, only that maybe it's in the groups, the other terror groups that relate or have vowed allegiance to the leader of ISIL.
And when we see that ISIL may have now just released this video coming from Somalia, one has to wonder, and perhaps just explain to us, why it is that ISIL would want a stronger presence specifically in Somalia?
Well, ISIL's agenda is one where territory is important. They have held territory before. We know they are in parts of Syria, they're in parts of Iraq, and in parts of Yemen even. And right now, they want to expand that territory to as far as what they want to build what is called a caliphate, an Islamic kingdom, where Islamic law is what applies. So to be able to do that, they are looking for places, centers of unrest already, places like Somalia, places like Libya, where there is unrest. Even Egypt has suffered some political unrest. So they try to move into those places, take advantage of the destabilized situation and expand their territory.
When it comes to a country like Somalia, particularly with Al-Shabaab operating in that space, it seems that we're dealing with organizations that might have different ideologies, different agendas. But with a video like this, which may be ISIL propaganda, do you think it has a chance of working? Might Al-Shabaab members actually join the ISIL cause?
Well, Al-Shabaab, as you've said correctly, has a very different agenda. Theirs is more a nationalistic, Somalia-based agenda, plan. So, and ISIL is looking at a global situation. So, unless ISIL is able to marry their agenda with the concerns of those who they would recruit in Somalia, it might be a bit difficult. But we know ISIL has resources, has management capability, and all that. So if they keep working at it, like right now they've had that one attack, which means they are busy trying to grow their influence in Somalia. But that said, don't expect Al-Qaeda, which is the Al-Shabaab affiliated group, to just up and walk away one day. There'll probably be a fight over that territory.
Well, as you say, ISIL has resources, has various capabilities, and as a result, they've been able to establish a presence in North Africa, in West Africa, and now in East Africa. It seems that Southern Africa is the only space that remains somewhat untainted by ISIL. Why is that so?
Actually, we'd say right now they've just done their first attack in East Africa. So but they've been working beneath the cover and underground towards this attack, and probably to others in future. The same might apply in South Africa. We already know there's some South Africans, about 11 or so, who are repatriated from Turkey. These are South Africans who had gone to join ISIL, but were repatriated in the process by the Turkish government. So that means there is recruitment going on in South Africa, and probably not just in South Africa, the country, but in the region. Yeah? And the whole attack scenario is not a one-day thing. It takes recruits, it takes training. Maybe if there are more South Africans who are already in Syria fighting, one day they'll come back and start perpetrating similar attacks in their homeland.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much for that analysis. Bernard Macau, live for us here in our studio.